morning, Plato's Academy. My name is Dave Sheridan. I'm Ethan's dad. I'm a pilot for United Airlines, and today I'm going to show you a little bit about the plane. So I'm actually currently in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'll show you guys on a map later where exactly that is. But let's go outside and take a look at the plane. Might be a little loud, so I might not be able to say too much, but we'll see. This is the jet that I fly. It's called the Embraer 145. I can take 50 passengers, 2 pilots, and 1 flight attendant on this aircraft. So if you look here on the plane, we have different instruments to tell us while we're flying what's going on. Like for instance, this right here is called a pitot tube. That tells me how fast we're going. This is called my angle of incidence. This will show me what angle the aircraft is pointed, whether it's up or down. And this right here is an icing detection. So if my plane starts to ice up at high altitudes. So coming down over here, we have the galley cart, or the galley entranceway where they refill all the snacks and drinks that you guys have. Here we got some heat on the plane because it's kind of cold up here, and it looks like they're currently fueling. Then I come around, we got the engines, and we got the main gear. Every morning when I show up at the plane, I have to come out here and I have to do what's called a walk around. Make sure there's nothing broken on the plane. So that's kind of what you guys are doing with me this morning. You're doing my walk around with me. I gotta come over here and check the brakes, make sure they look good. So this is the airport as I'm walking around. And there's Frontier taking off this morning. That never gets old. And up there, that's the control tower. That's what we call the air traffic controllers, ATC. They're telling us where to taxi and how to take off and how to land. So I gotta check this every morning, make sure there's nothing in there, make sure the blades are all in one piece. Coming back around on the left wing here. There it is, United Express. That's who I fly for. All right, let's head into the cockpit. I'll show you a little bit of the inside of the plane now. Can't let you guys see the password, I'm sorry. All right. So this right here is the cockpit. This is where my captain and myself sitting here fly the aircraft. It looks like there's a lot of buttons and a lot of things, but once you get trained in this, it's almost like jumping in a car. So I'm just gonna explain a few things for you guys. And first off, I have here, if you guys were to jump in a car and drive to me right now in St. Louis, Missouri, it would take you 14 hours and 38 minutes. That's just too long, so that's why we're here. And this here shows in a straight line, 755 nautical miles. The aircraft can fly around 450 nautical miles an hour. So a little under 2 hours it would take me to fly to you guys compared to 15 hours of driving. And that's why our industry exists today. So right here, again, it looks like a lot's going on, but we can break it down real quick for you. So the numbers you see moving right there, that's my altimeter. This right here shows exactly how high we are based off of sea level. So the ocean sits at the same altitude all year long, and we change altitude based on the ground. So right now I'm 670 feet off the water, and we're gonna go up to 4,000 feet for our initial altitude. Over here, this is called our speed tape. So right now it's set for 155 knots, which would be like miles per hour for you guys. And the number will show here how fast we're going. So it'll start to go down and you'll see the numbers pop up. Over here, this is my heading. So this is no different than a compass. This will tell me which direction we're flying in. And then later on, this will actually be my map. It's kind of like your iPhone. You go to maps and it shows you where you're going. This will pop up here. This instrument here, this lets me talk to the air traffic controllers I was talking about earlier in the tower. So these are frequencies, kind of like phone numbers on how to call the tower up or the controllers. And then over here, this is what I would consider when you're looking at your mom or dad's car and it's showing how fast they're going and it has some engine readouts like RPM and whatnot. This is for my engines right here. And this is for anything that's not correct with the plane would pop up. Right now it looks like a lot, but we're on the ground and we haven't set up the plane yet, so all that will go away. It'll turn black when we're about to take off. Down here, it tells me my landing gear is up or down. Green means down, white means up. My flaps are 0 right now. That's on the wings. And then coming down over here, this is called the thrust levers. This is what makes the engine spool up and gives us thrust to go forward. I have the lock on it right now. So we take this off. So that's our thrust levers. We're going to take off.
Take off. Flat. Brake.
And that's the plane yelling at me for not having it configured correctly for moving the thrust levers forward. Here's my flap controls. That's for, it helps us either go slower or it helps us descend faster at a slower rate. We got the speed, we got our brake. This is no different than your parents' e-brake in their car. And then of course the yoke. Now my yoke looks a little different than most aircraft because Embraer is made down in Brazil. They felt like this design was the best way. Most aircraft yoke are more straight up, but this looks like a bike. We call it the bicycle handles. And then we come up here on the top, and I got my fire handles just in case if we ever have a fire on the engines, we can pull these down and that'll kill the fire on the engines. There's a lot of buttons here. I'm not going to take all the time explaining everything, but up here we have circuit breakers for electrical, but all that's kind of just not that fun. Over here, this is the captain's seat. It has what's called a tiller. That's kind of like the steering wheel when we're on the ground. So we either steer with our feet or with the tiller. And going into the back here, let's move it to the back. This is where you guys would see everything. This is where our 50 passengers sit back here. And our flight attendant, this is called the galley. This is where she keeps all the good stuff. Oh, they locked it. We'll go ahead and open that. In here, this is where you get all your soft drinks and sodas. Got water for the passengers. Right now with COVID, unfortunately, we don't really have too much snacks and stuff. Hopefully all that's gonna go away soon. We'll get everything back. So coming back here, we have the seating. And if any of you have ever flown, your flight attendant probably gave you this really awesome safety demonstration, and they expect our passengers to actually open up the safety card. And here it shows you everything about this aircraft, how to use life preservers and how to wear the seatbelt correctly. So make sure when you fly, you definitely pull this out and take a look at it. And then up here, we have for lights, so you can read when it's dark in the plane. You can ring the flight attendant bell to ask her for another drink or if you have a question. We got air. And then if there's any instance when the aircraft loses pressure, we have up in here this is where oxygen masks will drop down. And then you can grab that and place that over your face. Look at the aircraft. We have our lavatory, which is the bathroom. It's very small and tight, but it does the job. For our flight attendant, we have oxygen here. And this could be used also if she needs to move around the aircraft after it's depressurized and we've lost oxygen. But I wouldn't worry about that. We're pretty good at doing what we do, and it's almost never that happens. Well, that's pretty much it for my aircraft. It's not very big, but it does the job, gets you from point A to point B. I wish I was able to answer some questions today, but unfortunately I have to actually operate a flight. So I'll have to let Ethan talk to you guys about it. But it was good seeing you, Ethan. Be a good boy. I love you. And I hope you guys have a great day.